We are back at the Winston Speedway this week, where last year the AST Voltson Super Trucks ran their first race on a dirt track. Winning the pole for the fourth time in his career is Michael McKinley, and Daryl Quick has multiple front row starts this year as well, started on his outside, but is immediately going to be put back into third by Allison Ashburn in the Ford truck. Ashburn, a rookie this season, has not scored a top 10 finish yet. She's been involved in numerous accidents among poor performances, but she has also shown potential. Her good runs have fallen victim to some rather poor luck, and now she's showing what she can do here today by starting in third and running in second. This is Zach Churchill in the 84 running a new paint scheme this week. Churchill Incorporated has been experiencing a lot of troubles recently, and the team, they've already lost their FARC program, and the team was dissolved, and the equipment was basically taken over by the Prince-Orm family, which was co-running the old team anyways. Lake Erie Motorsports is the name of the new team for which these trucks are being entered, Truck 7 and 84. Churchill, of course, won this race last year, started today in fourth, but he is quickly dropping to the back after not being able to find the inside line. And Brianna Prince-Orm is already up alongside him, and she had a very poor qualifying run of her own. The Lake Erie trucks, as we now need to call them, now racing side by side, and Kevin Thompson comes up from the apron into Prince-Orm and knocks Churchill head on into the end of the wall. Prince-Orm goes around. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but both the 7 and the 84 are in the wall on lap 3. As you can see from the aerial shot, Kevin Thompson got turned down the backstretch, I think by Wilson Timothy, and had little choice but to come back up the track in turn 3. He pushed Brianna Prince-Orm and Zach Churchill up the track, and Churchill hit the end of the wall, protecting the grandstands of the front stretch head on. On board Alex Martinez, who also got shoved up the track and sort of ran up underneath the 7 truck as it was knocked into the air. We're on board the 84 right now, still on the outside lane, and there was absolutely nothing that he could have done about this. Hard into the wall, that truck is absolutely destroyed and out of the race. Churchill obviously not going to be able to repeat his success that he had here last year. This track is where he scored his only career victory. And it's a big shame after such a huge shakeup within that team. This is certainly not the start that they needed to get off to, and this is going to make things only harder for them. One more look at it from the front stretch. Timothy got too close to Thompson off the corner and turned him down across Amberly Weiss and into the infield. And again, at that point, Thompson had little choice but to come up the track. Surprisingly, that accident is not going to bring out the caution. The track worker is able to get Churchill's truck away from the racing surface, but Rachel Kowalczyk spinning off turn 3 will bring out the caution, and oh, Danella Jacobson's off with her. I don't think that there's any oil down on the track there. Both of them just lost control coming into the corner. Not sure if Jacobson was reacting to Kowalczyk. They're both going to drive back to the pit lane, but as they're doing so, Danella Jacobs' engine goes up in smoke, and due to the damage that she sustained in the crash, Kowalczyk is going to drop out of the race as well. And we're not done with cars breaking down yet. Daryl Quick is now stalled on the front stretch coming to the line. As everything is presumably settled down under the yellow flag, drivers are still not safe from harm. A checkup under caution for reasons unknown results in an accordion effect, and Mary Brousseau is the first driver who can't stop in time. She runs into Nancy Keith and has to hit the pit lane. Danny Vigo also got damage in the stack-up. He has to pit as well, the driver who won the two most recent races in this series. McKinley still leading on the restart. Allison Ashburn didn't have much of a chance to challenge him for that position, but Nancy Keith wastes no time getting to Ashburn's inside as Alex Martinez spins off of turn 1. On the restart, he loses control in the corner and throws the truck around. Lucky he didn't roll over, but he's going to get back over the banking and back up onto the track without losing a lap. Martinez has been having a pretty good season so far, but that was a mistake of his own. Fortunately, he's still in the race. As we now look at Danny Vigo in the 80 truck minus its hood. Vigo was probably looking forward to this event considering that he is a dirt track racer, and he's already had a lot of success on asphalt this season with 2 wins, but he just spun up into the turn 1 wall on his own accord. Perhaps that truck is more damaged than it looks, but that looked more like a mistake on his own part. He loses a position to Mary Brousseau. They are both a lap down at this point. Alex Martinez is 1 lap ahead of the 80 truck, but he wants to catch back up to Brousseau and is getting into the back of the 48 just a little bit in trying to do so. So it looks like despite all the damage that's been inflicted upon the 80 truck, it is still quite fast, as Michael McKinley now puts Alex Martinez a lap down as he goes around him to his inside. McKinley has been running away with the lead since the restart, having another fantastic showing, and this is the battle for second that he has left in his mirrors. Nancy Keith still holds that position, but Amberly Weiss has almost got taken out in the first caution, or the first accident I should say, but has worked her way all the way up into third as she gets around Allison Ashburn in the Ford truck, and now sets her sights on second place. McKinley has been trying to get by the lap cars. You see Martinez actually got around him once again, and that has really allowed the rest of the field to start to reel him back in. If McKinley is not able to regain his pace, then at this rate Weiss is going to be the first truck to catch up to him. However, the other leaders are going to have to deal with the lap trucks themselves as soon as they catch up to them. Kevin Thompson, of course, nearly got wrecked early on in the race with a very scary close call on lap 3, but he is now running in the lower end of the top 10 with a relatively unscathed truck. We have not seen a lot of top 10s out of Thompson recently, so a good solid run might just be what that team needed. Their best career finish was 4th place, which came last year at Toledo. Speaking of trucks that were involved in the first accident of the race, Brianna Prinzhorn has been very slow with all the damage that her truck has sustained, and is now going a second lap down to McKinley. So Prinzhorn trying to salvage what she can, but unfortunately, she doesn't have a whole lot to work with at this point. As McKinley continues to put trucks a lap down, Danny Vigo and Mary Brousseau are now 2 laps down as they continue to battle with each other for position, and Hunter Blaze is about to be caught up on the 99M as well. As we ride on board the 75, McKinley has seemed to find a... Oh! There's a truck in the wall. That's Danny Vigo again. The 80 truck was sideways in turn 1. Here's a replay, and it looks very similar to his first spin, which happened on lap 11. He overdrives turn 1, and oh, Brianna Prinzhorn runs into the back of him. Wilson Timothy and Mike Ramos get a very small piece as well, but all trucks involved are going to receive very minimal damage and continue on. Michael McKinley gets a good jump over Hunter Blaze, who is the first truck 1 lap down on the restart. Amberly Weiss is still second, and John White is in third, but Ashburn is going to put White back into 4th in turns 1 and 2, and complete the pass in turn 3. And now she's going for second place on Weiss. That's, she of course started the race in 3rd and ran in 2nd early on. And now she's looking to try and get by McKinley, an opportunity that she didn't have at the beginning of the race. She's setting up to pass him on the inside, and oh! McKinley's off the track with Brousseau in turn 1! They both went spinning over the banking, and that is going to bring out the 3rd caution of the day. Your leader just got spun off the track in a crash in turn 1 after leading every lap thus far today. Let's take a look and see what happened. Ashburn bumped the 25 coming into the turn and forced her up the track into the side of the 99M. I don't know if that was intentional. I kind of doubt it, but it wasn't very cautious of her to be running that closely to the 25 truck while entering the corner. I suppose you can make the argument that Brousseau really shouldn't have been getting in the way of the battle for the lead, but considering where the lap trucks restart, there's not much she could have done. She was holding her lane, and Allison Ashburn had only just caught up to her. I'd say that this was more the Ford truck's fault than anyone. She's pretty lucky that McKinley's still in this race, but she had to slip up and lose a few positions of her own to avoid crashing herself, and that has given the lead of the race to John White, who of course was on track to win at Nelson Ledges Road Course the last time the series was in action, before he got wrecked in an accident with Danny Vigo while they were battling for the lead. White started today from the very last position as Ashburn's turned another car. That's Alex Martinez, who went flying through the infield and back up the track and somehow did not lose control. And probably not very happy with the Ford truck for that. He's going to pull up right in front of her and get in her way, but inadvertently he's also going to help her take the lead of the race. He pulled up back onto the track right in front of John White. Again, that wasn't his fault, but Ashburn goes to the inside of both of them as, oh, the 06 actually smacked the wall off of turn 4. So that probably also assisted Ashburn in her taking the lead of the race. White is still alongside the 48, And Amberly Weiss is going to be the next truck to take advantage of this. She goes to the inside, bringing Mike Ramos and Michael McKinley with her. McKinley is already back up in the 4th position after restarting outside the top 10 after that crash. And he is now working on the 23, trying to get to his inside. This would be the best finish of Mike Ramos' career. He has a pair of top 5s, I do believe. But he has lost the spot to McKinley, who is charging back to the front. He's probably not very happy at Ashburn, and he is getting very close to catching her. Wilson Timothy also in the top 5 now, trying to work his way to the front. But Ashburn's going to have to deal with Weiss before she's ever going to have to deal with McKinley, because Weiss is making a run for the lead. On the inside of the 4 truck, she has the preferred line and is going to take the top spot. She's been running a great race all day long. She started on the front row last year at Terre Haute in her only other dirt start, so she seems to have a knack for these dirt tracks. And now McKinley has caught up to truck number 4. He gets awfully close to her, but decides to make a clean pass to the inside. There's no way to tell for sure as to whether or not he's angry at all with Ashburn, but regardless, it was rather wise of him not to attempt any sort of revenge, because as he's showing right now, he still has the fastest car on the track as he blasts by the 75 to reclaim the lead. We've seen Hunter Blaze get wrecked early on in a few races so far this year and storm back to the front with a damaged car, but McKinley has gone from 1st down to restarting in 8th. He actually did restart inside the top 10, so pardon my error earlier. And back into the lead. But following him past the 75 truck is the number 61 of Wilson Timothy. At Toledo, Timothy ran in the midfield for the entire race until he charged into 3rd for the finish, and we have not seen him at the front all day today either, but now as the race is approaching its end, he finds himself in 2nd place and chasing down the 99M truck. Weiss has already gotten passed by Keith now, so she's starting to drop through the field, and at the worst possible time, she's still in the top 5, but she's about to fall into 5th as Mike Ramos tries to go by, and you saw a truck go flying off the course behind them. I think that was the 4 truck of Allison Ashburn, and as we were looking at the aerial camera, indeed it was. She just gets the entrance to turn 3 wrong, tries to correct the car, but loses control and spins way into the grass on the outside of the circuit. She's going to enter the pit lane, pull into her pit stall, and will not rejoin the race. Meanwhile, back at the front of the field, Wilson Timothy is chasing down the 99M of Michael McKinley. The former FARC DMR Regional Cup racer is the fastest truck on track, and the leader is right in his sights, but he is running out of time to catch him. As the old saying goes, catching him is one thing and passing him is another. Meanwhile, we mentioned Hunter Blaze a bit ago. He has one of the cleanest trucks on track at the moment, driving inside the lower top 10. That is an accomplishment of his own so far today. He's getting a very solid run out of it. Mike Ramos is now going for 3rd place on Nancy Keith. The Kalamazoo Speedway racer is on track to score his best career finish, but meanwhile we see Michael McKinley and Wilson Timothy now taking the white flag. Timothy is only a couple of car lengths behind McKinley, but he's gotten a very poor one through turns 1 and 2. McKinley is going to pull away, and that is all the room that he'll need to come around back to the line and score the 4th victory of his career and the 1st of the season. McKinley had one of the fastest trucks of the race, but he had to work for this one after facing some adversity by being spun off the course. Congratulations and great job to everyone on McKinley Motors, as well as the Binford Racing team, with Timothy finishing a career best 2nd place in only his 5th start. It's also a career best finish for Mike Ramos, as he finished in 5th at Toledo earlier this year and now scores his 2nd career top 5 with a podium 3rd place finish. Nancy Keith was very fast here last year and scores a 4th place this year. Amberly Weiss hangs on to the top 5 with a career best 5th place finish. John White finishes in 6th. Kevin Thompson scores his first top 10 in a while in 7th. And Hunter Blaze is the last truck on the lead lap in 8th. This is the first race in which not all of the top 10 trucks have finished on the lead lap. Alex Martinez scores a top 10 despite being 1 lap down with damage. And the incredibly battered truck of Danny Vigo is going to score 10th after winning the last 2 races.